Just take a look right in my book with reading rangers. You're reading rangers. Howie and the reading rangers.
Hi friends, welcome back to Camp Read A Lot. I'm Ranger Delaney, and today we will be working on our Read A Lot badge. Today we will be reading a book I wrote called Clementine and the Creature by Delaney Revis. Let's hop into it. Clementine and the Creature by Delaney Revis. The woods were dark and silent as sticks crunched under Clementine's sandals. She had known better than to go out into the woods alone, but the dare had seemed so easy at the time. Now, the trees around her were closing in, the light of her flashlight turning bark into faces and branches into reaching arms. Suddenly, from behind her, there came a loud thud. Darting around, she saw something she could hardly believe. It seemed to be a creature, large and furry, with a pointed horn on either side of its head that steadied it as its wooden face peered up at her from where it sat upside down. She would later decide that it must have fallen out of a tree to have landed in such an odd way. Before she could scream or run or even blink, the monster began to lean and fell backwards, with another noticeable thud. Most people would have run, and the thought did cross Clementine's mind, but as she stared at the creature, now lying flat on the ground, it seemed like it was shaking, almost like it was scared. Now filled with a new sense of courage, Clementine walked forward, pressing a gentle hand to the creature's furry head. It stopped shaking and seemed to calm down a bit. A loud voice called from deeper in the woods. "Clementine! Clem, where are you?" "Oh, Clem, there you are. I was worried that you got lost because of that stupid dare." Clementine's best friend, JD, stepped through the bushes and into the clearing as she turned to face her. "I'm fine," Clementine called back, "but you have to see this." "See what?" was JD's reply. Confused, Clementine turned back around, only to find that the creature was nowhere to be seen. But it was just right here!" JD sighed, grabbing Clementine's arm and beginning to pull her back to the campsite. "Sometimes I really don't know what to do with you, Clem." About a week later, while Clementine was walking home from softball practice, she saw a large, furry shape running across the road, apples trailing behind him as a farmer yelled in outrage. Giggling to herself, Clementine followed, finally finding it sitting against a tree. The creature looked tired, huffing and puffing from under its mask. She reached out a hand, offering a bright red apple that she had picked up while following it. The creature seemed to relax, and didn't run away as she sat down next to it and began to talk. Clementine talked and talked and talked, until both she and the creature were sound asleep leaning up against a tree in the middle of the clearing. They napped until the sunset, when Clementine realized that she had to get home, but she promised the creature that she would come back the next day. And she did come back the next day, and the next day, and the next day after that. At first she tried to see if the creature could play any sports. He was a pretty good soccer goalie, but struggled with basketball since he had no arms. They also decided that, because of his horns, volleyball was not a good choice. She found out that it wasn't very good at hide and seek. But it loved to have its toenails painted to match hers, even though this often meant that she had to use 2 or 3 bottles of nail polish and a full-sized paintbrush. It even came along while she was flying her kite, and the creature was very helpful when it came to getting kites that were stuck in trees. Every day, after practice, for 3 years, Clementine would go out to the woods with 2 ham sandwiches and have a snack with the creature. Every day, that was, until one day when she didn't have any ham sandwiches, and she was crying. Clementine's mom had gotten a new job in another state, which meant Clementine was moving, and she wouldn't be able to hang out with the creature anymore. A few weeks later, it was time for Clementine to go. With a heavy heart, she said goodbye to the creature, but promised that one day she would come back to see it again. The creature watched as Clementine got into the car and drove away and began to wait. The creature waited and waited and waited. It was many, many years before anyone came back to the creature's woods. Anne-Marie groaned as her mom dragged her through the bushes. "Mom, how long have we even been walking? My feet hurt." Clementine wasn't really listening to her daughter complain, seemingly distracted by old memories. Before Anne-Marie could complain again, Clementine stopped suddenly. "Here! We're here!" Here was a clearing with a large tree in the middle, and Clementine told Anne-Marie to unpack their lunch while she went to look for something. But when Anne-Marie opened up her mom's backpack, she was confused. "Hey, Mom, why are there 3 sandwiches in here?" "Just in case," was Clementine's only reply. "In case what?" asked Anne-Marie. The sound of something moving through the woods came from behind them, and Clementine smiled. "In case we run into an old friend." The end. Thanks for reading along. My challenge for you is to read or illustrate your own story.